The relentless sun beat down on the arid land, transforming the once vibrant landscape into a canvas of searing brown and dusty yellow. Corvus, a young crow with feathers as black as the night, flapped his wings wearily, his throat parched and his voice reduced to a dry rasp. Days had passed since the last drop of rain had touched his beak, and his journey to find water had become a desperate struggle. He had flown from sun-bleached fields to dried-up rivers, his hope withering like the leaves on the skeletal trees that dotted the desolate terrain. Every puddle he came across was a cruel mirage, shimmering under the sun only to reveal cracked earth upon closer inspection. Exhaustion began to gnaw at him, and his vision blurred at the edges. Just as Corvus was about to succumb to despair, a flicker of movement in the distance caught his eye. A small village nestled amidst a grove of palm trees shimmered like an oasis in the heat haze. With a surge of renewed energy, Corvus flapped his wings and steered himself towards the potential source of salvation. Landing on the outskirts of the village, he spotted a quaint house with a vibrant blue door and a neatly trimmed garden. In the center of the garden stood a terracotta pot, its surface cool and inviting. Hope rekindled in Corvus's chest as he approached the pot, his beak anticipating the sweet relief of water. But his heart sunk as he peered into the pot. The water level was far too low for him to reach with his beak. Disappointment surged through him, threatening to overwhelm the fragile flame of hope. He hopped around the pot, his mind racing, searching for a solution. Suddenly, a glint of light caught his eye. A small, smooth pebble lay next to the pot, worn smooth by the relentless flow of time. A thought, audacious and desperate, formed in Corvus's mind. He carefully picked up the pebble in his beak and flew back to the pot. With a determined caw, he dropped the stone into the water. The splash was insignificant, but it sparked a flicker of inspiration in Corvus. If one pebble could raise the water level slightly, perhaps many more could raise it enough for him to drink. He set to work, gathering pebbles from the surrounding area, one by one. His task was arduous. Each pebble, however small, added a minuscule amount to the water level. Doubt gnawed at him, his thirst intensifying with every fruitless drop. But Corvus persevered, driven by an unwavering determination to survive. He worked tirelessly, his wings brushing against the scorching earth, collecting pebble after pebble. His exhausted muscles screamed in protest, his feathers ruffled and dusty. Yet, he persisted, fueled by a growing sense of purpose. Hours passed, marked by the relentless sun and Corvus's relentless labor. Finally, after an eternity of effort, the water level in the pot started to rise. Slowly, painfully slowly, it reached a point where the tip of his beak could touch the surface. With a triumphant cry, Corvus dipped his beak into the cool water, saving the sweet nectar that flowed down his parched throat. He drank deeply, quenching his thirst and renewing his spirit. The water was the most delicious thing he had ever tasted, a testament to his perseverance and ingenuity. As his thirst subsided, a wave of exhaustion washed over him. He perched on the edge of the pot, his body trembling but his heart filled with a sense of accomplishment. He had overcome seemingly insurmountable odds, his survival secured through his own wit and resourcefulness. However, just as he was about to take flight, a shrill voice pierced the air. A young girl, her eyes wide with surprise, stood at the garden gate, staring at him. She pointed at the pot, her voice trembling with anger. "Look, mother. A crow is trying to steal our water." Corvus froze, the girl's words shattering his moment of triumph. He had been so focused on his own survival that he hadn't considered the consequences of his actions. He hadn't thought about how his actions might affect the people who lived there, how he might come across as a thief. Shame washed over him, a bitter aftertaste in his mouth alongside the sweetness of the water. He dipped his head, understanding the girl's fear and anger. He hadn't stolen the water, he had merely used his ingenuity to access something he desperately needed, but the distinction appeared irrelevant in the face of her accusations. Just as the girl reached for a rock to chase him away, an elderly woman emerged from the house. Her eyes, softer than the girl's, fell upon Corvus. She saw not a thief, but a creature driven by a primal need.